It's kind of like should be on the same level as the Cy Young, but because they refuse to establish what the MVP is and that pitchers can win the MVP, it makes it bigger than the Cy Young. It should just be the best hitter in baseball. Like, it's weird that we have like the best pitcher in the leagues, but we don't have the best offensive player or like, field player in the league.
Yeah, we've done this a little bit before. It should be 2 awards. It should be best player and MVP. That would make it a lot more fun. I do like the Silver Slugger and Gold Glove stuff because I think that's a interesting way to give out some merits to different dudes if you're a fielding specialist or a hitting specialist. But yeah, and you know what kind of has ruined this is WAR, wins above replacement. Like that that stat was made up to kind of show a player's value, and people have looked at that and been like, oh, well, that player had the most value this year. So, yeah, you kind of screwed us on that one, War.
Let's do the NL first.
Your NL MVP is Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger. Come on down.
He's a pretty good NL MVP, though. I mean, the Dodgers had a really good regular season. He went nut job for most of it. It would have been fun to see Yelich finish the season, but once Yelich got knocked out and Milwaukee did pretty good without him, it was kind of bellies.
Yeah, but I saw something that was Yelich missed the last 2 weeks, right?
I want to say it's closer to 3.
Okay, 3 weeks. If he missed the first 3 weeks, would it have counted against him in the same manner? That's what I saw, and I thought it was an interesting point.
Not the same manner. But, I think your counting stats and stuff like that are impacted. But again, that's where it's another gray area with MVP.
Dude, Cody Bellinger's so young. He's 23 years old.
Yeah, he's really good. Do you think...
I didn't realize he was that young.
If the Brewers played like shit without Yelich, does he win the MVP?
That's interesting. So if he gets hurt and the Brewers blew it, does he get more votes? Could be. Because you can say, look what they did without him. He carried that team.
Right? And now there's probably some dumb people saying, like, look how good they did down the stretch without him.
Yeah. So the games... What the hell is this? Oh, I have this wrong. I have Yelich's career versus Bellinger's last season.
Ooh, love it.
It's not fair. So Bellinger played 26 more games.
I mean, that's almost a full month.
Yeah.
Jakey math.
Good job. Almost a full month. He had more plate appearances. Yelich had a higher OPS, a higher slugging, a higher on-base percentage, a higher batting average, more total, or no, not more total, no counting stat he's going to win. A higher OPS plus. He only
did all the NL awards...
He only had 3 less home runs than Bellinger. Yeah, this was Yelich's to win easy if he didn't miss 3 weeks.
Did the NL blow all their awards with injuries? Like Tatis was neck and neck for Rookie of the Year. He gets hurt. Yelich had like a mini leg up on Bellinger for the MVP. And then Cy Young, like Scherzer had a good chance. He got hurt. Ryu got hurt and had a little slump. Like, NL, you kind of blew it this year.
Damn. Dude, I'm happy for Bellinger. I think he's a deserving MVP winner, so I'm not trying to knock him at all. He had a fucking fantastic season. But Yelich had him in a lot of these categories. I didn't realize that. If he didn't get hurt and he stayed true to how he was playing for the next 3 weeks, it was Yelich's easily. So that injury really hurt him.
Yeah, and that'll be an interesting week of this offseason or spring training when, dude, Yelich's numbers are like silly. They're Barry Bonds stuff. So that'll be fun. It'll either be like this right before the start of the season or a boring week of the offseason where someone's like, hey, Christian Yelich is a real Barry Bonds.
A real Barry Bonds. So you want him to take steroids?
No.
I just don't know what you meant by it.
All right, so Jim, here's where it gets fun. So you'll appreciate this. Well, actually, no, you do have one asshole you have to find.
Okay.
Somebody gave Cody Bellinger a 5th place MVP vote. Everything else was 1st or 2nd. Someone gave him a 5th place. Like, yeah, like that dude should be in trouble. You fucked up.
Someone gave him a 5th. It looks like you get to vote on top 10. So the other ones I had. So who gave him a 5th? Here it is. Tracy Ringo.
Oh no.
Ringolosky from Colorado.
How many names is that?
He had Rendon, Freeman, Arenado, and Yelich above Bellinger. So he had Yelich 4 and Bellinger 5.
Yeah, I mean, you got to lose your vote for that.
Dude, he's the only one that didn't have Bellinger or Yelich. Dude, why are not all of them? Obviously, 99% of the baseball writers aren't assholes, but why are there like these assholes that get votes? You know what? It's not Bellinger or Yelich. They're not even top 3. Go fuck yourself. You're just wasting your vote.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. But Yelich had 1 4th place vote, and it's that person. That sucks. So Rendon had the majority of the 3rd place votes. He had 24 of them. Ketel Marte finishes 4th. We made some Ketel Marte jokes as the season went on. He had a crazy year. If you're a stats geek, go look at it. His season. Acuna finishes 5th. Arenado 6th. Jom, this is the one that had the NL talking. Because you're right. I mean, when there's 10 votes, you know, you're going to have people that sneak in a Yasmani Grandal or a Strasburg or Eugenio Suarez for the Reds. Had 4 10th place votes. The one that had everyone talking yesterday, Jim, Kevin Pilar.
You got a vote?
Kevin Pilar got 1 10th place vote for the National League MVP.
For his 7.19 OPS season with a 259 batting average and a 287 on base percentage.
Like that's brutal. And I don't know, man.
Well, let's look at that guy's ballot and let's look at if he did everything else good. Then I'll be like, okay, you don't get
Kevin Pilar had a
dumped.
1.0 WAR.
Okay, let's look at the rest of his ballot and see how he did otherwise.
A 293 on base percentage.
Jake, if he did everything else fine, I'm
Okay.
fine with him fucking around with his 10th place vote.
Okay, that's fair.
His name is Henry Schulman from the San Francisco Chronicle, which is Pilar's team.
Right.
He had Bellinger 1,
Nailed it.
Yelich 2,
Yep.
Rendon 3,
All day.
Marte 4,
Uh-huh.
Freeman 5,
Okay.
Alonso 6,
Yeah.
Arenado 7,
Yeah.
Soto 8,
Okay.
Acuna 9,
Yeah.
Pilar 10. I like it. I'm not duncing him. What I'm saying here is I want this to be the future. I want the top 9 guys you have to take very seriously. And then that 10th guy, you just give it to who you like the most.
Like, I'm wondering, does Kevin Pilar have something in his contract? If he gets an MVP vote, he gets $100K, and he threw this rider like $10K. He's like, hey, just give me your 10th place vote.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, that feels like a no-brainer.
Okay, well, maybe Trevor Story has that. He got a 1 vote, a 10th place vote.
Trevor got a lot of votes.
Well, and he got 1 10th place vote.
2. But he also got 2 6th place votes.
Suarez got some votes.
Suarez, yeah. Colton Wong was the other one. He got 2 10 spotters. Goldschmidt had 1 8th. Ryu had 1 7th. Yeah, I don't know. It's it's a solid list. The the Kevin Pilar. That'll be a running baseball nerd joke for the next year or so.
I'm happy for Pilar. And I'm not giving him my dummy suspension, the voter, either.
Okay, that's fine.
Who cares about that vote? Good job.
Can one of my I'm assuming yes, and that's part of the reason he got this vote. Can one of my Giants followers or listeners reach out and tell me if Pilar still plays like a cool center field?
Why wouldn't he?
Because I think the metrics are starting to fall off, and he's getting a little older. I mean, he's 30 years old, so I don't know. Just curious.
Well, do you still play a good center field?
We're gonna find out soon, I think.
All right. The AL MVP was an interesting one because you had Trout, who got hurt, similar to Yelich. You had Bregman, who's amidst the scandal right now, which doesn't come into play at all, obviously. And then
You don't think
Simeon, who, like, I'm going to be honest here, Simeon just doesn't have the name or the campaign, is kind of a two-man race. I haven't looked at the voting, though. So how did this break out? Anything interesting?
We've got good news, Jim. Trout and Bregman got all first place and second place votes.
Oh, we got no assholes?
No assholes.
That's fantastic.
Trout 17 first, Bregman 13, and then vice versa for second place. Simeon had the majority of the third place votes. He had 22. LeMahieu had 6. He ends up finishing fourth. Simeon's a really interesting one because he played a really good shortstop and he had a really good year with the bat. That's kind of one of those mental mind fucks a little bit because I think when you think of Oakland's lineup, you think of Matt Chapman and Matt Olson first. But Simeon did have a really, really good year by a lot of advanced metrics too. Let's see, LeMahieu, Bogarts, he had a big year. There's Matt Chapman, George Springer, who if he had the full year, he would have had an interesting case. Mookie Betts finishes, which I don't, Jim, our guy, Jeff, is it Passan or Passan?
I always say Passan.
Let's go Passan. That's how close we are with him. Got to figure that out before winter meetings. He had Mookie like 4th. He had LeMahieu like 8th. And that one's kind of tough for me, as a Yankee fan, but I'll try to keep my bias out of it. But DJ LeMahieu was so good and so solid for this whole season, and it felt like Mookie was gone for like not gone, but he wasn't MVP Mookie Betts for half the year.
But DJ's not going to get, like, if you look at MVP as the best player in baseball, he's not going to get those votes. If you look at it as most valuable to your team, he should get those, but it's very split in how you look at it.
I would counter you with, like, we saw it this year, and living in Denver, I had a lot of my Rockies fans and sports writers bumping me and being like, yo, you like it, huh? It's nice. And it's like, yeah. But remember, we had the whole stretch where David Cohn said it, that DJ LeMahieu looks Little League out there, that he's just the best player on the field. And I don't know. I mean, this is part of the problem and why Kevin Pilar got a vote is that when you do watch a guy every day, sometimes you do get blindsided by whatever you're thinking a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, it's 6 one way, half dozen the other in the end. I'm trying to see if there's any standouts. So Garrett Cole finishes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Garrett Cole finishes 10th in the MVP voting. Verlander 11th. How about that?
That's what? Whatever. It doesn't really matter. But I mean, okay. Well, if you wanted to make that case, Cole won more. The team won more when Cole was on the mound, so MVP. But then the side. That's all right.
That's baseball, baby. Couple oddballs.
Is there any weird? So. Boston writer voted Bogarts 3rd. The only third place vote was from a Boston writer, so hometown love there.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, he had a good enough year that if you throw him in with LeMahieu and Simeon, it's close. But yeah, that's a homer vote. Justin Verlander had 1 third place vote. Let's see. Who are our wild cards at the bottom? Jorge Soler gets a 10th place vote, but I love that because he had a big year. Like, knock yourself out, Royals writer that put that in.
Detroit writer put it in.
Ooh, how about that? Well, yeah, Detroit. There's a lot of games he had to watch. Charlie Morton gets one. Sure, knock yourself out, Rays voter. Yohan Moncada, he gets 10th placer. JD Martinez gets 10th placer. Max Kepler with a 9 spot, Jim.
Yeah, Houston voter. Christy Rakin.
Jose Abreu with a 7th and a 10th. And Eddie Rosario with 2 8s. So there's that.
I don't see anything egregious here.
No, nothing too crazy, and you are right. I mean, once you get to the 8 to 10 range, you can throw shit at a wall a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. That's if we wanted to throw our hands up on the Cy Young, Garrett Cole finishes higher in the MVP voting. Dun dun dun.
I would have voted for Cole. I would have voted for DeGrom. I would have voted for. Actually, dude, I've never looked at the Trout and Bregman breakdown. I'm gonna look at it, okay?
Okay, let's see.
It is interesting because you have Trout playing 22 less games than Bregman, which is similar to Yelich and Bellinger. It was what, 26 to 22? You have
yeah, something like that.
You have Bregman with 90 more plate appearances. You have Bregman with 84 more at-bats. Bregman has 12 more runs scored. He has a ton more hits. He has 10 more doubles. He has
Did Bregman lead the league in anything?
Yeah, I'll check. He has 4. Bregman has 4 less home runs than Trout. He's got more RBIs, so he's going to have the counting stats, right? Because he played longer, but that's Bellinger had the counting stats because he played more games, but Bellinger won, Bregman lost. Trout had more stolen bases. All the
Trout led the league in on-base, slugging, and OPS.
But Bregman had him in batting average, had him didn't have him on base percentage, didn't have him in slugging, didn't have him in OPS.
No.
That's interesting. I think we also have a factor here. The human element of the vote is that, like, everyone in baseball loves Trout and wants Trout to be the best ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People want to say, I got to watch that guy play. Look at his MVPs. Look at his silver sluggers. Look at his stats. And this just helps pad to the allure that is we're watching one of the best baseball players ever right now. I think there's a tiny little smidge of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're almost going too deep into this. I think the 2 right guys won the MVP award.
Bregman was there with a lot of them.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing, but I think, like you're saying, they are similar when you start mirroring the games and some of the counting stats, but I think Mike Trout's 134 games are more impressive than Bregman's 155 or whatever he landed at. I don't have his page in front.
But then I would go.
And then I would say Bellinger's 155 are more impressive than Yelich's 130.
If I'm a Houston fan, I think you can have a gripe. I think you can be a bit upset about this one.
4 worthy guys.
Yeah.
Those guys got all the first and second place votes minus one asshole.
Trout, though. Can I just go over this with everyone?
Sure.
Trout came up in 2011 and he played 40 games, not a full season, doesn't count. Didn't even pass his rookie limit, so who cares?
Should have traded.
2012 Trout's rookie year. I won't even say all-star because he's been an all-star every season since his rookie year. He won rookie of the year, okay? He came second in MVP voting in 2012. In 2013, he came second in MVP voting again. In 2014, he was the AL MVP. In 2015, he came second in MVP voting again. In 2016, he was the AL MVP. In 2017, he got injured. He didn't play a lot, and he was the 4th place finisher in MVP voting.
114 games.
114 games. In 2018, he came 2nd in MVP voting, and in 2019, he came 1st in MVP voting. So in 8 full seasons, he now has 3 first-place finishes in MVP voting and 4 second-place finishes in MVP voting and 1 4th-place finish when he was injured. He's won a Silver Slugger every single year since his first full season in 2012,
Wrong.
besides the injured year in 2017 when he only played 114 games. His career is incredible.
Yeah. No comment. Yeah, he's special. This is it. Go look at the Baseball Reference if you're a baseball person. It's fun to look at. All the bold italics for categories he led the league in are pretty insane. OPS 4 of the last 5 years. Jim, the cool part for me, because he's been special since you mentioned his rookie year. Like, we knew this dude was different. Where he led the league in steals with 49, by the way. In 2014, he led the league in strikeouts, which, again, not a big thing, especially when you're doing everything else he does. He led the league in total bases that year and won the MVP. But he's cut down on those a lot, and that's when things get really cool. When you see a special player that's like, yeah, I won the MVP. I had a really cool year. All right, time to get into those strikeouts. Got to get rid of those. And it's like, oh, you're different.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. All right, we have some free agent signings and happenings that we have to talk about as well.
Yep.
We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back with those.